19mm socket, remove all 4 of your lug nuts, and then take the wheel off. Next, we need to take this drum off. Sometimes it's stuck on there, in which case you can use a hammer and just hammer it on the surface here. That'll hopefully break it free. It's most likely stuck on this inner ring here. But thankfully it's not for me, so I can just slide it off and wiggle it. Next, before I do any more work, I want to take off all of this brake dust that has accumulated here. And I'm going to use brake parts cleaner. Just give it a good rinse. That way I don't breathe in any of this dust as I'm working. Next, I want to remove this little cap here. Take a screwdriver or anything that fits in there and hammer on this outer lip here. That should hopefully break it free. This one is pretty rusted on there. Now you'll see that the axle nut is peened over here. We'll have to peen it up just a little bit, and the hole is very small, so there isn't much that's going to fit in here. Well, that didn't do a whole lot, but maybe it did enough to help it break free. And then with your 32mm socket, go ahead and remove this nut. Yep, definitely did enough. And now if you grab the hub assembly, it should slide right off of the spindle. There you have it. Now let's just clean up the spindle just a little bit to make sure that there isn't any debris on it, brake dust, anything like that. And this one looks really good. Obviously, if you have rust issues, then that needs to be addressed, but this looks perfect, so we're ready to slide on the new bearing. Take your new hub and bearing, slide it over the spindle. It's gonna have to be lined up perfectly. There we go. If it's not lined up 100% perfectly, because it's a very tight fit, it won't go on. So now let's put the spindle nut on. I'm going to gently bottom it out, and then I'm going to torque it. All right, right there you can see it even almost lines up with the old mark. And now we have to punch this down to lock it in. That should be good right there. Let's go ahead and put this cap back on. Make sure it's fully bottomed out. Next, I want to put a thin coating of anti-seize along the whole hub surface, especially on this ring right here. Try to avoid getting it on the lug studs, but basically this is going to prevent rust from building up, and it's going to help the drum not stick on here and seize in the future. And since no rust builds up, the drum will sit nice and even flush up against the hub until it needs to be replaced. You don't need a lot of this, just a little bit will do the trick. Now you can put your wheel on and torque it to 80 foot-pounds.